Cincinnati Bengals are sweating. Their knees are weak, their arms are heavy, because the heat is about to get turned up to 1,000. The LA Rams defensive line duo is capable of bringing pain from any which direction, and quarterbacks have felt that not just this season, but for many seasons before. Aaron Donald has always operated on his own planet, in his own galaxy, but the fact the Rams have had a second stud to complement him has kept every offense in the league in hell, and then they acquired Von Miller in Week 9. Adding him to Aaron Donald and Leonard Floyd has created exploitable matchups in every possible direction. Since Week 12, the Rams have held every team below 28 points, and in the playoffs, they have been unbelievable. Just 18 points per game, 3.1 yards per rush, and offenses have been forced to completely shift their game plans all because they're terrified of one thing: the pass rush. The Cardinals tried throwing a million screens, the Bucs ran a bevy of quick game, and the 49ers tried to pound the rock. But ever since the Rams added Von Miller, this defense looks like it cannot be stopped. Opposing quarterbacks have the third shortest time to throw in the league, and when they hold the ball for more than 2.5 seconds, the Rams have the second highest pressure rate, the third highest sacks, and in the playoffs, they've taken it up another notch. To fully understand how dominant this front is, we need to break it down into 3 phases. How the Rams create one-on-ones with alignment, how Donald and Von win those one-on-ones when they get them, and how they take advantage of offenses overcompensating to stop them. We'll go through each of those one by one, but before we do, I want to thank this week's sponsor Caldera Lab, which is a new take on skincare, and they're a game changer. They've created a high-performance men's self-care regimen that combines pharmaceutical-grade science, nature's purest and most potent ingredients, all while emphasizing sustainability. Their 3-product skincare daily regimen is the game changer I was talking about. It starts in the morning with the Clean Slate, a silky smooth pH balance cleanser that feels great and gets your day started right. Then you put on the base layer, a nutrient-dense moisturizer that not only seals in hydration, but makes your skin incredibly smooth. And then finally, at nighttime, you end the day with The Good, a refreshing serum that's infused with active botanicals for over 4 weeks. I love how smooth it makes my skin feel, even just right away after I use it, and it's surprising how quickly I've seen a difference in how my skin looks. If you want to improve your skin, go to calderalab.com/Rollins to get a special discount of 20% off, or just click the link in the description box below. Jumping back into football, let's first take a look at the philosophy behind the Rams' pass rush, and that philosophy is simple. Von and Floyd win with speed outside, and Donald wins with power inside, and that ties into our first phase, alignments. If we look at the center, 2 guards, and 2 offensive tackles here, we can see how the Rams align. Donald almost always plays as a 3 technique, meaning he's on the outside shoulder of the guard, but here he's a little wider since it's third down because he doesn't have to worry about the run. And Von and Floyd play exclusively in 9 techniques, which means they're way outside of the tackles and even tight ends. The Rams do this to funnel the quarterbacks towards whichever superstar is won on that particular play. Von and Floyd almost always attack the outside shoulder of the tackles with speed, which keeps Brady from gaining too much depth in his drop and forces him to shuffle up in the pocket towards Donald. Yikes. On first and second downs, the Rams love to deploy 5 men on the line, which creates more one-on-one matchups up front. The downside of that is it weakens your coverage, but by lining up 5 on the line, they put the offense in a pickle. The key to any pass protection is where you slide the center, which is why the Rams put Greg Gaines in a 1 technique, which means he's on the outside shoulder of that center, so he can't slide towards Donald. Yes, you would like to slide a 3rd lineman over to help against him, and also Von, but that's asking a lot of your right guard to jump all the way over to protect the A-gap. Most teams are too scared of that happening, which creates those one-on-ones over here to the left, where Donald gets to feast on a poor, isolated guard, which is a recipe for disaster. The Rams can use these alignments to design one-on-ones for a specific player, which brings us to our second phase, how Von and Donald win their one-on-ones with their incredible arsenal of moves. Asking any offensive lineman to block him without help is incredibly challenging, and here that guy is the Bucs' left tackle Donovan Smith. With Gaines now aligned over the inside shoulder of the left guard, it would be pretty difficult for the center to get in front of him, so the Bucs slide to the right to help on Donald, but away from Von. His game, as we said, is all about speed. But before we get into his move, watch how he times Brady's cadence and is moving before the ball is even snapped. That get-off helps him accumulate speed as he fires off the line, which immediately threatens Smith's outside shoulder to the point where he's really not kick-stepping like he should, but is kind of racing outside just to cut off Von's angle. Early in his rush, he's determining whether or not Smith is going to throw his hands, and since he's racing backwards and doesn't have his feet under him to throw his punch, this tells Von to use his long arm technique to take advantage of the open chest. Even though Smith's arms are slightly longer by about an inch, he can't fully extend to ward off the long arm, and with Von's bend, he's able to totally disrupt the throw. That is truly one hell of a move, but nobody, okay, maybe Yannick Ngakoue, but nobody else can consistently win with just one move. Every great pass rusher ever has had counters to make linemen pay when they compensate for what they just got beat on. Now Smith knows he has to quickly fire out of his set to beat Von to the edge and get hands on him since he just got God. So Von uses his shoulders to sell the speed move, or maybe even a power move like a bull rush, so Smith gets all geeked up to throw his punch, but then he hits him with the ghost long arm where he fakes contact and dips right under. Von was absolutely on fire, finishing the game with 10 pressures and 9 hurries, but so was Donald. He had 8 pressures and 5 hurries himself. While he's used philosophically as the power player, as I mentioned, he also utilizes his speed and anticipation up front to win. He's aligned on the inside shoulder of the guard, similar to Gaines a few plays ago, and Gaines is on the outside shoulder of the other guard. With this alignment, it's safe to assume that the line is going to double or slide towards Donald at all times, so here he uses that against him. Knowing the center is coming his way, but also that he has to really fly over since it's Aaron freaking Donald, Donald is able to quickly counter his hands with finesse and fly through the line almost like he's untouched. His anticipation is an underrated aspect of his game and a part of football that's hard to see when just watching on TV, but is incredibly crucial. He knows the Cardinals were throwing screens and using the quick passing game as much as possible since they were terrified of the Rams' D-line, so he used that to his advantage. With Gaines lined up over the center, this creates one-on-ones for Donald and Floyd outside. Donald is anticipating quicker throws from Kyler Murray, which means the O-line's assignments are slightly different. They use jump sets, which means they're quickly attacking the pass rushers to get hands on them to give Kyler more room in the pocket early in the down, while sacrificing holding up and protection for more than a second or two. Donald knows he's going to get Max Garcia's hands right away at the snap, so he counters them and blows the whole thing up. When isolated one-on-one, these guys are almost impossible to block, and everyone in the league knows it. We can attribute Phase 3 to their coordinator Raheem Morris, who's done a good job not only getting them those matchups, but also utilizing stunts and games to give the offensive line multiple things to think about and to counter some of their adjustments. This is called a TEX or TE tackle end stunt. Donald is the defensive tackle whose job it is to penetrate inside to hold the guard's inside shoulder and crack the ear hole of the left tackle, so Von can push upfield, then loop back into ideally an open A-gap. Once again, it's the Rams using Donald as the power player and Von as the speed player, and since these guys are so special, they're able to make this play where a lot of other duos couldn't. Because Von's speed allows him to start so far outside, Smith isn't necessarily expecting him to try and come all the way back inside. This also stretches him out to the left a little bit more, so there's extra room for Donald to work, and since Smith is so freaked out by Von's speed, Donald has that much more space to win. The guard is ready to pass off Donald to Smith and take Von himself, but Donald uses his power as the penetrator to finish with the sack. On the very next play, even when the Bucs use their running back to help out on the same tech stunt, Von has so much speed built up at the line, it's challenging to stop him even when the guard knows it's coming, and he can't stop him from condensing the pocket, making it harder for Brady to drive this throw. These stars up front also help on the back end, since they force the quarterback to get rid of the ball earlier than he'd like, and they also help other players produce since the O-line has all their attention on the big boys. Let's check out this two-play example where the Rams kinda know what they're getting. With Gaines lined up over the guard and Donald and Floyd over to the right, it's a pretty safe bet that Von is getting his one-on-one matchup and the Cards are sliding everybody away. This helps Von, but also helps Troy Reeder, who gets his own one-on-one with Chase Edmonds, who does a pretty solid job, but can't hold up super long, and Kyler yeets this thing for 7 to the wrong team. A couple of minutes later, the Rams kind of flip things and have Von, Donald, and Gaines over here, with Gaines again on the inside shoulder of the guard. So now it's likely Floyd who has the one-on-one, and Reeder again matched on Edmonds. A lot of teams like to get the running back out of the backfield and into the route to create more stress on the coverage, but that leaves them susceptible in protection. Reeder and Floyd know the Cards are going to slide the same way left, but now if Edmonds running a route, which leaves Kelvin Beachum out to dry. He correctly protects the inside gap since it'll take Floyd longer to get there, but the free runner causes Kyler to short circuit, which wasn't exactly a rarity on that Monday night. The Rams' defensive line has carried them through the playoffs and stifled every team in their path. Offenses have to basically choose just one guy to double or slide protection towards, which leaves a future Hall of Fame player matched on a not future Hall of Fame player. The Rams do a lot of things to generate these one-on-ones for their stars, like using alignments to pick and choose their best possible matchups. Then they let Vaughn and Donald use their own arsenal of moves to annihilate the guys in front of them, and can also mix things up with stunts to keep the offensive line off balance. One of the great things about the Rams' power and speed pass rush philosophy is that Donald is just as capable of winning with speed, and Vaughn is just as effective winning with power. The unique nature of Donald being as devastating as he is from the inside has created a whole world of problems for offensive lines with Vaughn flying off the outside. The terrifying tandem has led them to the Super Bowl, where they face arguably the worst offensive line in the league. So with Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and, oh yeah, Leonard Floyd, the solution to stopping them, well, it's pick your poison.